Yeah. Oh no. Look at all these rappers, please don't get me started. I'm taking out these artists, picking flowers from the garden. And look what I have done, and I ain't even try my hardest. Don't take nothing personal, I'm just being honest. Always come on top, so you know that I am on it. I am dragging in a cave and a knight in shining armor. I come through and clear your crew like I'm armed with a hammer. I am swinging like I'm Tarzan, you are monkey with bananas. Oh my, who is this guy? Oh, so very humble, but a beast inside. I am wearing a leather jacket with a scope on my eye. This is a piece of cake with some humble pie. Don't go there because I have been there before. Have everyone bow down when I open the door. Please pass me the ball, I'm guaranteed to score. What's mine is mine and nothing else is yours. Some bright days will quickly turn dark. Now who you messing with?
Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to another edition of Don't Shoot the Messenger podcast. It's your boy, Professional Sutton.
And I'm your boy, Chris G.
So, Chris and I, we had to, do it a little different format. He's at the crib, in the Playboy Mansion. I'm over here, but it's getting done. So how you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Trying to recuperate from a long week, man. Long week of work.
You sound like it, man. I mean, you sound like you like,
a long week.
like he about to just give up. I was like, dang. But it's all good.
Well, dude I work with, man, he got pinched. Ooh. So he in there for at least a year. Ooh. And when they gonna find somebody to take his spot, I don't know, but I gotta work his first shift and my regular second shift until further notice. So yeah, it's a bit it's real right now.
So the Don't Shoot the Messenger fan base, we will be keeping you in prayers, man, 'cause that's tough. 5 days a week, right?
5 days a week plus a couple hours on Saturday. So
man.
Yeah.
It's all good, man. But I just want to jump into boxing because I know we usually do the boxing thing last, but you and I, we talked off air, and that last fight with Klitschko and Tyson.
Oh my goodness. What a snooze fest.
I mean, you talking about, I don't know what Tyson Fury, I don't know what he called himself. He was doing like some shoulder shrugging. He was trying to be a little bit of Roy Jones mixed with Mayweather. It looked horrible. It looked like every time somebody, how when you flinch at somebody and they jump, that's what it looked like.
Yeah,
I was like
a lot of flinching going on back and forth.
I don't know if it was like some shoulder roll. He was trying to get out. Well, that was horrible.
Well, what they both were trying to do was they were trying to feint each other. That's the boxing term for it. You try to feint somebody.
I was fainted because I kept dozing off. I was fainted.
Let me tell you something. A couple things I got out of that fight. The first thing is that they need to make a super heavyweight division because, back in the day, when Muhammad Ali and Tyson and, Frazier, and you can even go back to the Joe Louis days and the, Rocky Marciano days. Heavyweights, maybe 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", 220 pounds, 230 pounds. It was 6'7" guys in the ring over 250.
Horrible.
It just it's not gonna look as aesthetically pleasing as welterweights or middleweights fighting or light heavyweights. They're so big that a lot of their movements are slow. I don't want to take anything away from them like they're not good boxers because they are, but it's not what the heavyweight division should be, man. The heavyweight division used to be, the top division. You know what I mean? It was like
exactly.
Everything didn't matter. No other division mattered but the heavyweight. You know what I mean? And now it's just, these guys are so big that it's just, it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch.
I mean, I was trying to watch. I mean, I was just like, maybe, first of all, I was watching Klitschko. I'm like, this dude, he's been reigning supreme over the heavyweight division. I mean, taking nothing away from him due to the lack of talent that's in the heavyweight division pool. Mm-hmm. But also, when I was watching him, he just looked so exhausted. Like he had other things to do. Like he should be, doing something else. And then, he was just off. And I was like, if he was really on his game, Klitschko, maybe 5-6 years ago, he probably would have knocked Tyson Fury out. But it was just like, I don't know. It, like you said, it was snooze fest. And I was just like, Chris, maybe I'm out of touch with boxing, but damn, that is horrible. Horrible.
Well, again, they're too big. And then another thing is, you know, both of them are like the biggest in the division, minus Deontay Wilder.
Yeah.
When you're that big, they're not used to fighting somebody their own size. You know what I mean? So they have to watch out for different things that they normally don't have to watch out for. Like, you know, this person got just as much reach as you. They don't have to punch up to hit you. They can punch straight. You know what I mean? It's a lot of, you know, things that they're not accustomed to doing. But still though, with all that being said, it was just a bad fight.
Yeah.
It just made the already questionable heavyweight division, you know, just look even worse, basically.
Also, while we're on the subject of boxing, what's up with the Cotto fight?
Well, the Cotto fight, we didn't touch on the Cotto fight, after, right? Well, you know, by now everybody knows that Canelo did get the W. And, you know, I thought it was closer than some of the scorecards, but it was pretty much cut and dry.
Okay.
You know, Canelo won. He did a real good job of basically, you know, not letting Cotto hit him with anything hard. Not that I thought that you could tell pretty much early on in the fight that Canelo was the stronger guy, and that there was probably nothing that Cotto could hit him with to, you know, wobble him. So, you know, Canelo was pretty much able to just, you know, walk him down, you know, take care of business. So, you know, kudos to Canelo. He won the fight, and he won it, you know, pretty clear cut. I don't think it was a robbery of any sorts that went on. But, you know, after the fight, he called out Triple G. So
now that I will be watching. Now that I will definitely be watching that fight.
You know, another thing is, and I'll just touch on this just for a second, since, you know, we're in the boxing thing. Canelo, which people need to be aware of, won the middleweight championship from Cotto. That fight was for the middleweight championship at 160 pounds. They fought the fight. The catch weight was 158 pounds. Canelo now says that he doesn't want to fight at any weight other than 155 pounds. So, going forward, just so everybody's aware, Canelo is going to make every person to fight for the 160-pound middleweight belt, he's going to make them come down to 155. And I know you think, oh, well, it's just 5 pounds.
Nah, that's a big difference.
Divisions are, like, separated by less than that. So, just be aware. So, you know, if he does fight Triple G is a 160-pound fighter. And he's going to make him come down to 155 to fight him. Just, you know, putting that out there so people know.
Okay.
That it's a real thing.
All right. So, you know, I'm sure once that happens, you know, there'll be like a special just all day talking about Triple G, and, you know, it's his work. If Canelo has the balls to actually go through with it, because I don't think he does, but let's see. I'm waiting anxiously to find out. That's going to be a good one. So, I want to jump into college football. I don't know if you caught any games yesterday. Were you able to catch any games yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't able to catch them, but I mean, I'm abreast on what's going on with everything. I just got finished watching the college selection, so I know who's in the 4 and I know who won and all that stuff yesterday. So, I'm caught up. I
mean, I'll just give the fans a little rundown. I mean, those who are listening for the first time, because we do have some fans that are not, like, you know, avid sports players. Or, you know, sports watchers. So we had Clemson versus North Carolina, which I think that was a very good game.
It was a good game, but that was a bad call.
Yeah. You know, it
was a bad call.
It was definitely one of those calls. I'm sorry, people. I don't have like perfect broadcasting skills yet. But it's getting there, so you hearing like a little beat from somebody calling me. But anywho, It was better than what I thought it'd be.
The game?
Yeah, it was a lot better than what I thought it'd be. I thought it was going to be freaking blowout. Not because North Carolina wasn't, on their game, but I just thought that it was going to be some horrible calls, and you know how they like to have their teams in the championship and the playoffs.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
But I thought North Carolina looked pretty damn good. They looked pretty damn good. With that being said, I still have Clemson as one of my favorites to win it all. I mean, they have the defense, offense. I mean, they have the total package. I mean, like, they are hitting on all cylinders. And when you see a team who can face adversity, but really show you how, it's done and how to continue to persevere and play and win, that's what I like to see. And that's what Clemson been showing all year. Because this is a good North Carolina team that if North Carolina play anybody else, that anybody else is getting blown out. But Clemson,
yeah, I think you're right, because they played a lot better than I thought that they were. I mean, I think that Clemson is the best team in the nation at the moment, and I was surprised how well North Carolina played against them and with them. Would they have won if they got the ball back? Who knows?
Yeah.
But they played a really tough, really good match against them. North Carolina has nothing to be ashamed of, nothing to be disappointed in. They played a great matchup this year.
I tell you what, who's ever coming, into North Carolina as a recruit, you got yourself a good program right there. And also, whoever's playing North Carolina in the bowl, you got a challenge on your hands, because this is going to be a damn good game. And you better have your best cleats on, and you better have your best athletes out there, because they're coming to play. And it's going to be a great one. Also, Alabama and Florida. Now, I'm a Florida fan. If we had Will Grier, we would be undefeated.
You probably would have won.
We would be undefeated. Because
the little bit of it that I was able to see, and I don't want to cut you off, but it just seemed like they couldn't move the ball ever.
We ever since Treon Harris came, like, I thought Treon Harris was going to be a beast. Last year, seeing him play, okay, he got a little smarter. But then I seen Will Grier. I'm like, here we go. Another one of these quarterbacks. And Will Grier, his mindset, the way he plays, the way he gets players open, you know what I mean? The way he make plays, he doesn't overthrow. I was like, wow, we need that. Then he got busted for that PED, and obviously he can't play till game 7 of next year. But Treon Harris, he doesn't command that type of respect. He doesn't move the ball the way he should. And that's why we can only play but so long. Our defense is great. I mean, I think we have a great defense.
Defense was really good. I mean, there were a couple pass plays that was unacceptable.
Yeah.
That first big one that they threw down the middle, I can't remember the kid name from Alabama.
Ridley.
I mean, Ridley, between two guys.
One of the top corners in the conference, probably in the nation. And it was, you know what, but I watched Vernon Hargraves, and shout out to him because his father is from New Haven. He went to Hill House. And also he was the linebacker coach when Miami was dominant in the early 2000s. But and
I'm with it, but it's just you got it. I mean, between two, and I mean, listen, I'm no fan of Jay Cook, of Alabama. Is it Crocker?
Coker.
Crocker. Yeah, Coker. I'm sorry. I'm no fan of Coker. Especially laying the ball out there and, hitting targets. Like, I'm no fan of this guy, and they just let him dice him up, man, on a few plays. And, again, like I said, on offense, man, they really, really could not move the ball. It was a struggle for them, and, it was, hard to watch. It was really hard to watch, because I thought, if Florida, I got a little excited, obviously, because I wanted them to lose.
Yeah, so
Ohio State would have a chance of getting in, and it made me excited for a second. But I quickly came to reality after being able to watch just a little bit of Florida offense. I said, well, now they're not going to score, so I could just forget about that.
Hold on one second. Let me plug this up. Sorry, fans. Freaking microphone keeps sliding. This is live radio. Hold on, here we go. I think we're good. All right, here we go. So I knew we were going to lose. And people were like, well, why don't you have faith in your team? I'm like, listen, I'm a realist. We don't have the quarterback. We don't have the quarterback.
Yeah, that kid's gotta go.
We don't, if we could have moved the ball, yeah, it would have been a whole different outcome. I'd have been like, yo, we got this. But I knew coming in, we didn't have the leadership, on offense to run the ball, and Will Gray would have made a lot of better decisions, especially running an option. Those times where he gave Taylor the ball and it was like, why? Keep it, tuck it, and go. Suck the defense in, and then we can dump some pass over the top with our tight ends and receivers. But that didn't happen. So it's all good. We'll play somebody. Then we got Michigan State and Iowa. That was a good game. I'm going to tell you what, Michigan State, although I like them, I don't see them pulling that BS that they did yesterday, that they did against Michigan, that they did against Ohio State. No.
A 9-minute,
22 plays drive.
That's not happening.
They said that was the most in 2 seasons by any team. I'm like, what? 22 plays? Wow.
They're just, they had them stopped a bunch of times. But that's whatever.
Yeah.
But the problem I had with it was, at some point you got to realize that the clock is working against you.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like Iowa never realized that it was working against them. I think it was 2 fourth-down plays they converted.
Yep.
In that drive. They gave themselves no chance. Your defense has to be better than that.
Yeah.
It just has to. I was disappointed in Iowa and not because Michigan State beat Ohio State. That is what it is.
No, but you are right.
Disappointed.
Yeah.
It was, to have the season that they've been having and to lose it like that, just,
It's, I would tell you this. I don't have nothing against Michigan State. I was actually rooting for them like last year and the year before, but I just think that when you're talking about, football and, how it's supposed to be played, like Michigan State always find a way to persevere, and that's what they've been doing. However, when you look at who's playing, in the 4 team playoff right now, for those of you that don't know, college football last year implemented a 4-team playoff because what was happening was people had good records. Some people were great and undefeated, and they didn't have a chance to play for the national championship. So now they say, okay, well, we're going to make a 4-team playoff. That way everybody could get a shot to play. So that's what's happening. With that being said, it was, it's still not as good as I like it because I still think that Ohio State should be in it. I still think that they should have an 8-team, playoff bracket, that allow like a team like Ohio State, Iowa.
Well, you make a good point, but Ohio State had their chance.
Nah, Chris, but you know what? But it's sad because if you lose in college football, if you want to make it, you got to lose early. And it sucks because you got a team like Oklahoma who I think they're not going to go to play for a national championship. I can tell you that right now. They barely squeaked by.
You think so? I like Oklahoma.
Nah,
I think Oklahoma is going to run Clemson. I honestly believe that. I think they're going to run them.
Yeah. And here's why. One thing that Oklahoma has over Alabama is that Oklahoma is used to that spread offense. They're used to that like fast paced offense. Baylor, West Virginia, TCU. So they're used to seeing it. But when you're talking about running the ball, they don't do a good job of running the ball, i.e. Texas. When they played Texas, they could not stop Texas. They can play the field, and
they had a bad game against Texas, but, they also, they played very, very well against Baylor and Oklahoma State. They played really, really good.
But once again, you're talking about a Baylor team who didn't have 2 quarterbacks. Like they caught Baylor at the right time. You're talking about an Oklahoma State team who should have lost to Texas from the get-go. I mean, like I said, not taking anything away from them, but if you lose early, you are fine. If you play in a decent conference, where decent meaning if you have more than two teams who are ranked in the top 25, you are okay.
Well, you know what though? You're right. It's hard to lose late. But let me tell you something. If Ohio State had played up to par all year and they were just wiping the division out, and then, they stumbled against a good Michigan State team and, they slipped up and lost the game, then maybe. But being an Ohio State fan, we played like crap all year. We're talking close games against, Northern Illinois, Indiana, I think Maryland. I think the only teams we really whooped up on were like Rutgers and
Michigan, probably Michigan.
And Michigan, even though Michigan was ranked as a good team, but I mean, the teams that we played that were subpar, we looked subpar against. So when you only get two good matchups in the whole year, and that was at the end of the season against Michigan State and Michigan, we had to win those two games. But I mean, there was a reason why we were undefeated, and then when the rankings came out, we were number 3 because we just didn't look good leading up to it. It didn't look good.
But you know what? It's I will have to give some of that to coaching, because as a coach, you got to decide who's your quarterback, and you have to be very firm in who's your quarterback. When you have like 2 or 3 quarterbacks, and that's the thing, when you have so much talent, you can do whatever you want and you can flip flop. But when you have a quarterback and when you play any sport, you have to have a rhythm. They didn't get a chance to play in a rhythm. JT Barrett, he didn't get a chance,
Nope.
So he
you know what? And neither did Cardell.
Exactly.
I don't think he got a rhythm either because, the way that they played at the end of last year, they didn't play like that.
No.
At the beginning of this year, which was a more of a pro style type of an offense, which fits Cardell better, a lot better, and it also fits Ezekiel Elliott better. They didn't play like that at all. They were trying to play like how they wanted JT to play, and then when JT took over, they still kind of, it wasn't that great.
But you took the words right out of my mouth. Like, they're the type of team in college football who can play any style of offense. They can play pro style. They can spread, pistol. They can play, if they wanted to, the double wing. It don't matter. But when you are playing in an offense where you're not consistent, mind you got certain assignments as a lineman where you might have to pull, you might have to do zone. When you run in zone, you run straight blocking, you're all over the place. And also as a quarterback, you're not getting into a rhythm. Now you got to go out. Now you got to come in. Cause Urban Meyer, we kind of dealt with that at Florida. He want to do this, he want to do that. It's like, no, find the quarterback. Let them get in that rhythm and go. I mean, you guys have a great defense. There should be no reason why you guys are, barely winning. But when you don't have a consistent offense, that's what happens. And I still think that Ohio State should be, in the playoffs. I'm sorry. Like, their resume speaks for itself. They should, I think 8-game or at least a 6-game, but there needs to be like Ohio State in, and I'm trying to think like another team who I think probably could be in, maybe Florida State. That's even pushing it, but Ohio
Stanford.
State. Yeah, Stanford.
I think Stanford needs to be in.
Stanford, definitely.
And I wouldn't have had a problem with Stanford jumping Ohio State if Clemson would have lost or if Alabama would have lost because Stanford looks that good.
Oh.
Christian McCaffrey.
Yo, we was talking about him earlier. Remember we were talking about Christian McCaffrey? He was
we was talking about the McCaffrey. We was talking about the McCaffrey kids.
Yeah.
All of them. And let me tell you something. They're not going to give him the Heisman, but it's a pure Rob job as far as I'm concerned.
But you know what? This is probably going to be the third time. Now, I don't want to say, but yeah, probably the third time that Stanford player got robbed. First, you have Toby Gerhart. I mean, I think that.
Yeah, he was good.
But once again, he was. I think who was going against him that year? It wasn't Cam, was it? No, it wasn't Cam. It'll come to me, but it was him. You had Luck up there, and now you have McCaffrey. He's not going to win it, but I tell you what, I can see him playing a slot like a Wes Welker, and I can see the Patriots taking him, getting him some way, somehow. Sorry, Chris, the Patriots are going to find a way to get this kid.
I can see Christian McCaffrey being what he is now, a running back. I think he's that good.
Nah, yo,
I think he's that good.
Yo, I mean, no, I think he's good, but you put him in a slot, you let him do a little out and in, and you're going to have a tough time to try to catch this dude. And he can run. And he,
you know what else he could be?
Man.
You know what else he could be?
What's
he
that?
could be a souped up Danny Woodhead too.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe a Darren Sproles type guy.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, man, I like that kid. I like him a lot.
But we was talking about him like week 5, and he's like, yeah, he said, because we both had the same perspective, like, yo, this kid is legit, but because of he's not playing primetime ball, meaning like he's not on when like Clemson or Alabama's on. He's on the West Coast, so they kind of don't get the same love that the committee who's in New York. Well, I mean, they watching it, but it's not primetime football, so to speak.
It's Pac-12, man.
Yeah.
So when they're playing at primetime, it's already 1:00 over here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's bad timing.
Yeah, but he is definitely a good athlete, and I'm glad to see him doing something. Because I think everybody, because his dad is, Ed McCaffrey. He's a, legendary, Broncos wide receiver. Bronco. But I think that, he came in the same time.
Don't forget his brother down in, at Duke.
Yeah.
The receiver.
But
he's a gamer.
Yeah. But I think that, Christian got looked over because Barry Sanders' son went to, Stanford too. You remember that? It was all that hype about Barry Sanders' son?
Yeah.
And he went to Stanford.
He beat out Barry Sanders' son.
Exactly.
He beat him out clear cut.
But, again, he wasn't like looked at like who high. But I remember seeing him in high school. I'm like, yo, this kid why is nobody talking about him? But, he is, again, it don't matter who you're related to, but when you put them pads on, you just got to come and play. And that's what he does every Saturday. So.
Yeah, that's what he does. No doubt.
Another surprising win that I saw yesterday, Texas versus Baylor. Baylor was down to a receiver as a quarterback. I was like, wow.
Where has this Texas team been?
I don't know. It's like they're making their way.
You got to remember now, they got a win over Oklahoma, who is in the national championship tournament. And they got a win over Baylor, who was at one point considered to be, on the outside looking in of the tournament. I think we talked about Charlie Strong.
Yeah, we did. Because we talked about him, and we were talking. That was the game before Oklahoma. We was like, I don't think he's gonna do it, and we were talking about like how that win would actually put him over the top, and it really helped him out. Yeah. I don't know if it's safe, but the front door is definitely unlocked, so to speak. I don't know if it's safe, but it's definitely unlocked, you know what I mean? So he's still not unpacked yet, but let's just say with this win, but even if you look at their schedule, like let's look at their schedule, what they lost to. They lost to a good Notre Dame team. Okay, that was that. They lost to Cal by 1 point. They lost to Oklahoma State by 1 point. They lost to TCU. Well, they got smoked by TCU. They lost to Iowa State. How? They barely lost to West Virginia. They lost to Texas Tech by 3 points. So when you look at who they lost to and how they, lost, they really should only have like maybe two losses on their resume. But the other losses been like 3 points or less, man. So again,
well, I'll say this: if they fire him, I wouldn't be devastated, but they can also give him one more year. So
yes.
It looked like you might be on the edge of something. So, we want to give you a shot. So let's see. See how it plays out.
And I agree with you 100%, about I think they should let him get one more year. If you he looks like a player's coach. Like when they won, the players just immediately lift him up like he won a national championship. They believe in what he's selling. So if you have players who believing in what you're selling, then guess what? You need to let that player stay there. When you look at when other teams win, like they'll, put their hands on the coach head, rub their head, and then they'll walk away. But these players are on Charlie Strong. Like in interviews, they're in the back. Like, they feel devastated that they're not winning. Because if you look at it, he's putting the right plays, but they're not making the plays to win the game. So I don't know the format. I'll ask my other boy, Chris, cause he's a big Texas fan and he knows people down there, but he looks like a player's coach. And with that, you have that momentum to be a great team, and they should continue to let him run that rock down there. After next year, I agree that's a whole different story, but at least give him one more year, so.
I wouldn't be, I guess I'm indifferent either way. Like, whatever decision they make, one more year, he deserved it. They let him go this year. Hey, it's Texas, it's big time football. It's gotta win, you gotta win now.
But he only had 2 years though.
I know, but Texas is like one of those schools. It's like USC, it's like Penn State, it's like Notre Dame. Even when they're bad, they feel they should be winning right now.
And
so they got, really, really high expectations, and that's not always the coach's fault, but you kind of know what you sign up for when you go to a school like that. You know that, they got a shotgun to your head as soon as you sign the deal.
Now, could you name those teams that you just said again?
I said USC,
okay,
Penn State, Notre Dame.
And when last time they won a national championship?
Man, I think USC would be the closest one, and they have
2004.
2004.
And who else did you say?
I said Penn State.
Okay, the last time they won was
the 90s.
Okay.
95 or 96, something around there.
Okay.
Then Notre Dame.
88.
Oof. Yeah.
So once again, you keep flopping these coaches out and not letting these players play for their coach. That's the product you're going to have. And notice that you said a lot of teams who were dominant and who have that name, but nobody cares because, if you look at, teams that you just said, like, you said Penn State, now you got Temple. Yep. If you, when you look at USC, you got UCLA, you got Stanford now. So, and then you look at Notre Dame, you got other teams like Northwestern, so these teams are losing. I own these players because these players like, listen, if you keep having these coaches leave, I'm not staying. I'm out of here. See you later.
Right.
But I think that giving Charlie Strong one more shot, letting him, run his rings and, run his course, I think that will be the smartest thing for these players to just give them that confidence. But I do agree, one more year. If it don't work out, then damn it don't work out, but don't give up too easy.
Yeah, let's see what happens, man.
So, college football, it's going to be crazy. Who do you see in the championship and who do you see, taking it all?
That's a good question. If I was going to pick off of what I see right at this moment, I'll probably go Oklahoma, Alabama, and I think Oklahoma is going to win it all.
Nah.
That's my, I think they can get past Clemson, and then I think that, listen, everybody knows how to beat Alabama. You spread them out, you play the sidelines. They hate that. And you run a hurry up offense. Nick Saban hates that. He does bad against it all the time. It's just, there are no suitable quarterbacks in the SEC for some reason. And I feel like that gets overlooked a lot. Everybody talks about how great the SEC is. They rarely have a good quarterback in their, in the league. And when they do, that quarterback rips through everybody. So, I think that, Mayfield is good enough to definitely get the job done against Alabama in the national championship game. And listen, I know how you feel about Oklahoma, but I also know how you feel about Nick Saban. And
oh yeah, he's a bum to me. He's done.
I know it would give you some type of joy if you saw Nick Saban's Alabama Crimson Tide go down in the national championship. I know it'll give me a little bit of joy.
Oh, they're going down. That's no doubt about that. But I definitely see Clemson, taking it all. They're my favorite. I mean, I think that we look at a complete team. They have the most complete team in college football at this aspect.
I definitely think the champion is coming out of that side. I think whoever wins, I feel like it's a part of me that feels that the commission, the committee, I'm sorry for the
no, you're right. It is the commission.
Alabama to stay away from Oklahoma or Clemson until later on, because I think they know they would lose in the first round.
Well, they tried
one of those teams.
And let me just correct you. You are right. It is called the commission because they are a gang. But because they tried that last year. They wanted Alabama to play Oregon, and that didn't happen.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So they tried that, and then Ohio State scraped them, and then went on to become the eventual national champions. But what they want. They want to see Clemson, Alabama. That's what they want. And if that doesn't happen, then they're going to try to make it Oklahoma, Alabama. They want the old school Boomer Sooner. They want it to be, when, they're going to bring Keith Jackson back and have him call the good old ball game. You know how it go. Clemson is not the favorite. Clemson on paper to most football, aesthetic fans, it doesn't look pretty. It's Clemson. It doesn't ring bells. But with this playoff, you will be seeing a lot of teams who you never thought win actually in the big dance. Like, who would have ever thought you see Michigan State?
Not me. Not after they lost to Nebraska. Boy, which is a bad loss.
Yes.
It's a really, really bad loss.
Yes, that was horrible.
But they got good wins against Ohio State,
exactly.
Ohio State, against Iowa, against Michigan State, at Michigan State. Like, they got good wins, so,
This has been one of the most exciting college football years in a long time, because you don't see like those one or three teams reigning supreme. You see them losing now. You don't see like Alabama running over everybody. You don't see Texas and Oklahoma or USC and you see like the changing of the guard. Like I just thought it was amazing to see Baylor playing, like, Baylor is a favorite versus Texas in what year? You know what I mean? It's like, when was that ever supposed to be possible? But college football is changing. But I have Clemson winning it all. I'm like I said, that's just my opinion. But, that Michigan State and Alabama, that's just,
we'll definitely see, because, it's not a foregone, conclusion that Alabama is definitely going to beat Michigan State. So
now, if Alabama loses, what does that say about Nick Saban? Like what do you think is going to happen within like the next year? Because he hasn't won, in a while.
He hasn't won in 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, and then Alabama turns.
That he's human, and that's what it is.
Yeah, if you want to call him that, whatever. But but if you look at like now you're talking about winning now in Alabama, it's all or nothing, and he hasn't won in 3 years. If he loses this year, what do you think that they saying to him down there in Tuscaloosa?
I think, I would just think that to me, it'll overall say that they do better without the playoffs. If they got one game against a team that they can focus on for a month and a half, they do better than if they got to run through a gauntlet. You just got to play different styles. And as good as Alabama is, there's a style out there that beats them. Go ask Ole Miss. You got to remember, Ole Miss only got one loss. They got that fluky loss to Arkansas, and they crushed Alabama.
Yeah.
Alabama started to come back and make it respectable in garbage time, but that game wasn't close.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. And then we went on to beat Ole Miss. But
you know what I mean? So
yeah, we're gonna definitely see. And
I just think the SEC is just not as powerful and as almighty as everybody likes to portray it to be. They're good, and they're the best, but they're not unbeatable.
Nah,
they got big holes. They got real big holes. So
that's true, but they're still reigning supreme over everybody else. If I mean, if you look at ACC, I mean, how many teams are really coming out of there and you're like, oh, wow, besides what, Clemson, Florida State, you know?
They got, out of the past 2 years, they got a national championship out of the ACC, national championship out of the Big Ten, and I honestly believe that the national championship is either going to the Big 12 or the ACC this year.
I say ACC. I'd say ACC, but don't worry, SEC, we'll be back. We'll be back. You know, it's all good. So, you know, but we'll keep that in the back of our mind. So, speaking of reigning supreme, you talking about that light-skinned boy Curry. Man, what are they, 21-0 now?
21-0 after last night.
And they play, Clippers. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Raptors is nothing to mess with, man. And, you know, once again, you know, when you talk about the East not having too much, there's your shot, Raptors. There's your shot. You know what I mean? So they can come out of that. But, do you think that they can go 33-0?
Again, I got to see what they do once they get to the All-Star break. Because, like I said, when the Bulls did it, they were 32. They're like 32-2 or 32-3 or something, or 31-3, something along those lines. They were. They only had 3 losses. You know, look, for all I know, they could win the next 2 games and then go on a 4-game losing streak. I mean, it's possible. They're in the West and not East. But, you know, they, so far, they've been doing, exactly what they needed to do, and, I'm rooting for them.
So,
for sure.
So, one of my boys, Deshaun Rucker, shout out to him, man. He from East Orange, Jersey, man. Jersey stand up. But anyway, he said, that the Warriors are the 72-10 Bulls reincarnated. And he said he said with the way the league is, he can see them, losing less games than that.
I mean, they got to play the Nets tonight, who gave them a tough game last time they played, and they were in San Francisco, Oakland. I'm sorry, when they played. So, you know, we got to see how that unfolds. But you know, it's you know, they're a good team. And they're a good team. They don't really have a lot of holes.
No. And mind you, he's gonna be at that game tonight. So, you know,
he's gonna be at the Brooklyn Nets game.
Yeah, he gonna, cause, you know, he's from Jersey, so, you know, he's.
Barclays Center got a lot of things popping. They had a good fight there at the Barclays Center last night.
Yeah.
Shout outs to the Miracle Man, Daniel Jacobs, for taking out the overrated, overhyped Kid Chocolate Peter Quillen in the first round.
Man, you supposed to do that on the boxing segment.
Yeah, I know, but I had to shout. Well, I had to shout that out. It wasn't a big enough fight for you know, casual fans. It's just people who follow boxing would know who these people are. And you know, I'm not going to dwell. It was a quick fight anyway. It was the first round TKO, so it's not even that much to talk about. Just the Barclays Center. It was at the Barclays Center last night. Now they got the Warriors coming to the Barclays Center against the Nets.
Yeah, yeah. Brooklyn stand up, man. Brooklyn stand up.
Yeah, Brooklyn stand up for real.
But it's. I mean, like I said, he said that. That's not what I said. You know, we'll have him on the show next week, so he can definitely, you know, give us a look. But I just want to point that out there. 40 points, 2 games. I mean, he gonna be in Brooklyn. He might as well stop by the 40-40 club and get some. And get something from Jay, you know what I mean? Might as well get something, you know what I mean? But, you know, I'm definitely watching this team closely. You know, my boy LeBron, he sat out, for the Heat's, whooping last night. He ain't want no parts of that, which I'm glad, because he needs the rest, and people got a problem with him resting. How? He's human. And that was his decision. Coach Black was like, nope, you chilling. We have the manpower this year to have you chill. So that's what we're going to do. But, I'm not saying I'm a Warriors fan, but I tell you what,
I like the Warriors, man. I like them.
Yo,
I do. I really do like them.
You buy me a Warrior shirt, I'll wear it. I'll tell you that. I'm telling you.
like I told you, when me and my girlfriend went out to San Francisco,
yeah,
we didn't. You know, we were in downtown San Francisco, and we were at the California Pizza, which is an actual place and not just frozen food, which is what I thought it was being from Connecticut. But it's an actual, it's an actual place. So, you know, while we were in there eating, you know, I see Tyshawn Prince and Zach Randolph sitting next to me, right behind me. And,
Zebo.
you know, I turned to my girlfriend, Zebo. I turned to my girlfriend, I go, holy shit. I'm like, you know, I started looking around and I could see the whole roster. I'm like, yo, if they in San Francisco, I said the Warriors must have a game tonight. So, you know, we go on.
And for those of you that don't know, you know, Chris, he's a Trailblazer fan, right?
Yeah, I am a Portland Trailblazers fan.
Okay. Yeah, only black dude in America, Portland Trailblazer fan besides Clyde Drexler. But anyway, go ahead.
So you know, we see it, and you know, I immediately get on the phone, and we're looking at StubHub tickets, and you know, sure enough, they got a game. So you know, we get the tickets, and we head over to the Bay Bridge, and we go to Oakland, go see the game. And let me tell you something: the atmosphere in Oracle Arena,
it looks good.
You know, let me tell you something. I'm a little bit obviously it's a little new because, you know, we're from Connecticut. We don't got our own team. So we don't know how it is, you know, to just be at like a live atmosphere.
Thanks,
like
Patriots.
that all the time. It was so, let me tell you something. And it was all different. A lot of Asians, a lot of blacks, a lot of whites. It was just a mix of people, man. And you want to talk about die-hard basketball fans. It was a night where obviously it was the Grizzlies against the Warriors. Steph dropped 40 that night. And just being there when Steph is in a groove like that, just be that, like you've seen it, like you were in the building. Yeah, it's amazing.
Wow.
This is amazing.
I'm gonna definitely have to check out a Golden State game this year, man.
You definitely got to. And if you ever get the chance to be in San Francisco, because don't stay in Oakland, stay in San Francisco and then go to Oakland, because Oakland is the hood, everybody.
I think people know that.
If you ever get a chance to go see a game in Oracle Arena, man, there's nothing like it. I mean, I've been in Madison Square Garden. I've been in the Barclays Center. I've been to Staples Center as well.
Okay.
And I saw the Lakers against the Portland Trailblazers. And let me tell you something. It's nothing like Oracle right now. Oracle is almost it's similar to how it is when the Seahawks play. In their home stadium. It's like rocking like that.
Damn. But I mean, we are definitely watching history in making. So I think that's why I'm really watching it, because you know, really keeping an eye on these dudes, man, after just winning the championship, and you know, them really being hungry and just like I said, going out there and doing it consistently. And I'm gonna see how far this train can take on. I mean, I hope that they, you know, can keep it going. But again, you know, they haven't played like the thick of the West in, you know, after the All-Star break. But it'll be pretty interesting to see, you know what they gonna do after the All-Star break. But right now,
I mean,
congrats,
if
man.
They keep playing like this, man, they're gonna be unstoppable. That's just what it is, man.
Yeah.
They're gonna be unstoppable.
Yeah, man. So, you know, so those are really the two pressing topics. I mean, you know, we're gonna definitely come back this week and wrap it up with some NFL. I mean, nothing really going on. I mean, the Patriots lost. I know you're happy.
Well, let me tell you something. It was not only that they lost, it was the way that they lost that made me overjoyed. So yes, I was definitely definitely, you know, feel the void in my heart to watch the way the Patriots lost. The only way it could have been better is if Peyton Manning would have gave them that L. But you know, speaking of that, man, I'm writing myself you know, I'm writing a little expose called the death of the last gunslinger, about Peyton Manning, that will debut on the show in a couple weeks.
Okay.
In-depth look at you know, the life and career of Peyton Manning.
You know he ain't dead yet, right?
What he meant. I know he's not dead, but his football career is about to be.
His football career is done.
His football career is about to be.
It's done.
And I just think it's just basically talking about you know, when you're in the midst of greatness, how sometimes you really don't understand it, or you really
Yes.
don't appreciate it
I
as
agree.
much as it should be while it's going on. And just paying homage to one of the greatest regular season quarterbacks to ever play the game.
I like how you said regular season quarterbacks.
Because listen,
I
I'm
love
a Peyton fan. I'm a Peyton fan, but I mean, let's be honest. He's the greatest statistical regular season quarterback ever. Now, granted, I get into his playoff games too, and I mean, when you start to, I don't want to give too much up on the on my writing, but when you look at his playoff career, barring like 2 games that he lost to the Patriots in his early career, because he got smoked up in Foxborough twice as a Colt, and those were just losses. Nothing you could do about that. But a lot of the other games, there was a lot of fluke plays that had to happen to beat. If you think about the Pittsburgh play, I mean, that game should have been won.
Mm-hmm.
You think about the Hale Flacco. I mean, a lot of the things that happened weren't really his fault, but they're going to get put on him because he gets all the praise, gets all the blame. That's just how it is. Yeah. But I mean, there's some stuff, man, that I think
Well, definitely, say that, because I definitely want to read it. And I'm sure our listeners want to check it out too. But
I definitely we'll once we get everything popping, we'll try to put it on like a blog or something. Put it on our own personal blog, so people could go up there and look at it and stuff like that. But it's I think it's pretty good.
Okay.
Not to brag.
Nah. You know your sport, so I mean, I know it's gonna be statistically phenomenal and great. And it's not gonna put people to sleep, because your stuff. You're not gonna put filler in it just to make it sound good. You're gonna really, take your time and really, do it right. So, but yeah, Chris, I mean, that's all I have for right now, man.
Yeah, no,
it was great.
Shout out to my fantasy team who won the division last week.
Yo, shout out to mine too, because we was 3 and like 6, and we were looking horrible, and now we came back, and we are in 3rd place. We tie. I mean, our fantasy, it's like we got like 5 people tied for 3rd after this week. Yeah, it was crazy, but I didn't bet this year, but still though, I'm winning. Let's go. Holla at me. My team is called Ocho Cinco de Mayo. Little homage to
Ocho Cinco de Mayo.
Little homage to Ocho Cinco.
I like it. I like it a lot.
But yeah, so but fans, thank you guys for joining us again. We also going to touch on another topic. Kobe retiring. I'm gonna have one of my boys.
Yeah, we definitely got to get this guy.
Yeah.
He deserves the same type of respect that I'm giving Peyton. At the moment. So yeah, it's much needed.
I'm gonna let one of my boys, London, get up here, and he's not a Kobe fan by no stretch. I mean, he respects him, but he starts a fire on Facebook, so I want to kind of get him in here for like a little Q&A, and let him take shit, man. Let him take off on Kobe fans and piss them off a little bit. So, but yeah, Chris, man, I'll see you next week. We're gonna see y'all next week, and you guys have a good one. Peace.
All right. Peace.